Hi again. Welcome to Evidence for Faith. I'm your host, Michael Lane, and I am so glad you have joined us today because this lesson is so cool. It's a little short one, but I want to show you something that's absolutely fascinating. Because people often tell me as I speak and go to places and stuff, science has disproved the Bible. Science has disproved the Bible. Science and the Bible don't go together. And I'm like, oh, come on. Really? When people do this to me, I almost always ask the same question right back at them. Have you ever heard of a science called archaeology? I mean, archaeology is a science, right? It's got ology in it. I mean, it's a science. And the thing is, did you know, and in most cases, they don't, there has never been one provable archaeological discovery that disproves the Bible. Not one. Yet, there are tens of thousands of archaeological discoveries and artifacts and things that support the Bible. Archaeology is a science that supports the Bible remarkably, and archaeologists use the Bible in their studies and stuff frequently. So, I mean, there are so many books that are out there on archaeology in the Bible. So, I want to show you just today, real brief, one of these discoveries. Now, back in 2018, you might have caught this on the news. These things make the news once in a while for about, 15 seconds. But this is a really cool discovery that sort of got passed over. And it was a discovery that was a long time happening, actually, as it goes. What we're going to be talking about is the Pilate ring. The Pilate ring. Now, this was discovered at a place called Herodium. And what it is a small little ring. And I have a copy of one sitting here, and you can take a look at it. It's a small ring. The back part of the ring is gone. Antiquity took that. But you can see the emblem on this little metal ring that was here, and you can see there's writing on it, and there's diagrams and stuff on this little ring. This was discovered, and this is just an amazing discovery. This was found in Herodium, which is just outside of Bethlehem. And Herodium, you get the name Herod right in the thing. There's a picture I have here of Herodium. I took this over in Bethlehem, because Bethlehem and Herodium are right next to each other, basically. It's a man-made mountain. It is a man-made mountain. People often look at the picture and they say, oh, this thing looks like a volcano. It's not a volcano. It's man-made. Matter of fact, on the other side of the hill here of this mountain, Herod had cut off another mountain, had the whole top of the mountain moved because he thought it was in the wrong spot. So he actually had to move, they had his people move a mountain to a different place, and then he built a palace on top of it. The palace is basically gone today. There's just the ruins of it, but it's a remarkable place. And Herod was actually buried there. So for many, many centuries, people were searching for Herod's sarcophagus at Herodium, not finding it until just recently, but that'll be another story that we'll be doing, another lesson in Evidence for Faith. We'll talk about Herod's tomb. But in the meantime, this is where they were finding, they have found all sorts of artifacts, including this ring was up on this palace area on top of this mountain that Herod built. Just like I say, just outside of Bethlehem. You can stand in Bethlehem and see this. As a matter of fact, it's so high, you can stand in Jerusalem or on the Mount of Olives, and you can, if you look in the right place, you can see Herodium at that distance. It's not that far away. So Herodium is where they found these things, and Herod had this elaborate palace built on top of this mountain. Parts of it are still there today. It's a remarkable place. When I take and do tours with Dr. Steve Notley to Israel, this is one of the places we always take people. Outside of Bethlehem, we take them up here and we explain what is here and showing the battles and stuff that took place here. It's an amazing discovery. There's an old cisterns that were filled with water. Soldiers used them and stuff to hide in. There's also a synagogue. There's so much here. And Herod's tomb was someplace up here, and it was just recently just discovered, not too long ago. And that's what you find up here at Herodium today. But as they were exploring Herodium, they came across this little ring. Now, this was back in 1969. Some of you probably weren't even born yet. In 1969, they were excavating, looking for Herod's tomb primarily was the thing they were after, because he was supposedly buried with a lot of treasure and stuff. And a lot of people didn't believe that Herod lived. So they wanted to make sure, okay, we want to find evidence for this. Well, there was a professor named Gideon Forrester from the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, who was heading up this excavation back in 1969. As they're digging around in the dirt and stuff, they found this little ring that you see right here with all this beautiful inscription and stuff on this. And so when they found this, they realized, this is not a sarcophagus. This is not a tomb. So what they did is they boxed it up and put it inside of a small little box, labeled it, of course, put it in a box, and they put it in storage. And there it sat for decades. It sat in storage. No one ever took it out. No one looked at it. No one even cleaned it to see what it was. It just sat there, covered with dirt, for all of this time. They didn't do anything with it. Then, in 2018, yes, 1969 to 2018, this thing's just been sitting in storage. Somebody took it out and they cleaned the thing up and they started like, oh my gosh, there's writing on this. There's letters and there's a symbol on this. Wow. And as they studied this, they found some amazing things. First of all, it's a copper alloy-based ring. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it has an inscription on it that I want to take you through and let you see this, because this is fascinating. Because how many times do you see a biblical character written in language from the time of the person living, from the first century? But that's what we see here. If you look at this very carefully, this little ring, it's not in English, it's going to be in Latin, but what you're going to see, right up here, you'll see a symbol of the symbol pi. Even if you've had math, you never took Latin, you can see pi, the symbol for pi. So that's P. And then right below it is an I, and as you go across over to the other side here, pi, and there's like an L-A-T-O, Pilato, Pilate, Pontius Pilate, the same procurator of Judea that sentenced Jesus to the cross. It's that Pilate. That's him. And it has a symbol in the center. We'll talk about that in a second. This middle part right in here is a special object that I want to get to in just a few moments. But let's get back to, first of all, this is a ring that has Pilate's name on it. Did Pilate wear it? That's what everybody wants to know. Probably not. Pilate wouldn't have wore a copper-based alloy ring. For one thing, if you got copper-based alloy rings and you wear them, they turn your finger green. He's not going to do that. No, he's going to wear gold. Maybe silver, but definitely gold. I mean, he's the procurator, the governor of the area, so he's not going to wear copper. No, he had rings made, and he gave rings. What they did in those days, you would give, if you're somebody of great importance, like Pilate was, he would have rings with his name and symbol put on it and give that to his clerks that worked for him, so that when they would write letters or whatever, and we have letters, and they would bind up parchments and things with string and with clay or plaster, and then what they would do is they would stamp them, as you see here. Here's a stamp on these seals have been stamped into this clay, and you can actually make out lettering. Now, this is actually Hebrew that you're seeing here. This has nothing to do with the Pilate thing. I'm just showing you an illustration here showing how they would use these stamped rings for official documents. That's what we have here. And so that's what this ring was for. So Pilate, no, he probably never wore this ring. It's just too inexpensive for him. No, it was probably an administrator who was working for Pilate at Herodium, because there were Romans there, and there was a lot of things going around Herodium and Bethlehem, which there still is even to this day. So it was discovered there, and it's a signet ring that was used by a clerk on Pilate's behalf. So they're doing things for Pilate, keeping track of things, and official documents come through, and then they stamp them. And that's why these things were made, and they use these rings. It's absolutely remarkable that this ring was even found. How small this is, and also that it has his name actually on it. Now, what puzzles a lot of people is, what is the center image of this? And it's a good question, because you can see there's some type of strange image in the middle here. It has a base to it, and then it gets a little skinnier right at the bottom, and then it comes up and sort of like a long elongated triangle shape is formed on top. This is actually a well-known structure. It's called a crater. A crater, K-R-A-T-E-R, a crater. What is a crater? It's a wine vessel. A vessel for wine, holding wine. That's what this is. And what's so fascinating about this is Herodium, which sits right next to Bethlehem, was a place where they grew grapes and did wine. Even to this day, Bethlehem has wineries that are there. Here's a bottle of port wine from Bethlehem. No, this is not ancient. Pilate didn't drink this. No, I didn't either. The cork is still in. But I'm using this to show you that this is from Bethlehem. And since ancient times, from the time of Jesus, they made wine in this area. It even says on the back, it actually tells you it's made right in Bethlehem. And so they still do this to this day. So this is probably a ring from a clerk working for the procurator Pontius Pilate at Herodium, and he's working in the agricultural ministry for him in the wine business, and so having to do with grapes and wine, and that's why he has this ring. Now, it shouldn't surprise us, because there are other places that Pilate's name, because some people thought that Pilate was a mythical person, that the whole story, I've come across some that say that Jesus is a mythical person. Now, Pilate was a real person. Of course, Jesus was. We have lessons that we'll be doing on that too. But Pilate, and we'll have further lessons on Pilate, but Pilate has been substantiated through archaeology. There's no question this guy actually lived, because you can even find his name on another area in Israel. It's at Caesarea Maritima on the Mediterranean Sea, and there's a plaque there. The one at Caesarea is a copy. The original is in the Jerusalem Museum, but you can see his name actually appearing on there. It has his name, Pilato, and his name is there. So Pontius Pilate is an actual person. So don't let anybody ever tell you that the Bible characters and stuff were all just myths. These people never existed. It's just fairy tales and stuff. Oh no. This is more evidence showing that the Bible is true. This is a real person. It fits the time frame of when Pilate was in Israel, the style of the writing, where this was found, etc., etc. It all fits perfectly with the biblical account. Isn't that fascinating? Another piece of evidence showing the Bible to be true. Well, that's one of our main pillars here in Evidence for Faith, and I thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope this adds to your faith. If you have questions or comments, we'd just love to have you let us know what you think on these, and we're going to be putting out more of these archaeology and lessons and stuff like that, so for your enjoyment and to help you learn and grow in your relationship with Christ. So until we meet again, take care and God bless.